Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries, and welcome to a new series. This series is going to be reviews for the 2017 Mercury Music Award. Now, you might have noticed that you can't see me, and this is because this is something new. I haven't invented this. It was invented in 1943 by the same guy who invented DNA. This is a podcast, not cast, because they're not from cat. This is Anyway, I would like to first of all introduce you to someone who has become known in our circles as the Perfect 10, and you will from now on be referred to as the Perfect 10. So when I say Perfect 10, don't look around. I'm talking about you. Just say hello.
I'm just going to enjoy the fact that you have to call me perfect every time you address me. Can
I just say before we go any further that you are the default position for my co-eater when it comes to this podcast, because a certain bloke from New Jersey, was too lazy to turn up. So, Perfect 10, say hello again.
Hello.
Right, for the people who are not in the know, the Mercury Music Award is probably Britain's most prestigious music award. The Brit Awards are based on record sales, and there's various awards like the NME Awards, which people vote for or whatever. The Mercury Music Prize is voted for by supposedly independent judges, and each year there's a different set of judges. For instance, last year Jarvis Cocker was on the judging panel, and each year the judging panel listened to 200 British albums and they reduce it down to the shortlist of 12. So, my Perfect 10, we are on a mission which you haven't yet properly chosen to accept, of listening to 12 British albums. And I also want to get out straight away what we're going to call this series. And you came up with this idea, and the idea is listening to the albums twice through and then commenting on them. And what did we choose to call this series?
The 2 Through Review.
And I leapt up and down when I heard that, and I thought, this is amazing. This is what the Perfect 10's here for. And then I said to you, or did you say to me? No, then you said to me, or did I say to you? Me to you, about spelling two with T-O-O.
T-O-O, as in like too quick.
Yeah, too quick, because what we're doing is we're listening to the albums too quickly.
We're speed reviewing.
Redacting. No, we're reviewing. We're speed reviewing, yeah? So we're putting an album we've never heard of before, and we're listening through to it twice, and then we're spouting our opinion.
We're listening to it through twice.
Because it's the 2 Through Review. I want to make something very clear from the beginning. I am the musical genius, expert, and basically the Enlightenment. Me and Leonardo would have got on just fine. Perfect 10.
That's me.
Is here to make up the numbers in some ways, because unfortunately, and I can kind of look around and see it, so I'm not lying here. We've got a collection of Norah Jones, Dildo,
Guilty,
Meatloaf.
Oh, come on.
And you said something earlier about Dido, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
What did you say about Dido?
I said I'm not even a fan of Dido. I just have the one album.
So, my mercenaries, you see the problem here. Now, bear in mind, the Perfect 10 was a little bit scared of doing this, but I said to her last year during the 13 video series, Mr. Bill Ryan from New Jersey for the 1975 reviewed the wrong album.
Yeah, in my defense, I have at least listened to the same albums as you.
Now that we've got all that out of the way, rest assured, my mercenaries, that this introduction will not be said every time. That's all out of the way. So let's move on to episode 1. And the album we're listening to in episode 1 is the first album in the shortlist, and they go alphabetically. What?
It's radical that we're reviewing the first album in the shortlist. It's a crazy idea, but I think it will work.
Yeah, I was just making the point that they're in alphabetical order, but not in any order of priority of, like how much sugar content they've got or anything like that. So, the first album in alphabetical order that we've just listened to twice is Alt J, and it's not called Muscle Relaxer. Hang on.
Wow,
What's it called?
that's good to know.
It's called just Relaxer. It's Relaxer, okay? Can I just say, and I will try and spout some facts during this escapade. Alt J won the Mercury Music Prize with their debut album. So we're talking about returning heroes here. This is their third album, called Relaxer. Their second album kind of disappeared without a trace. And
Which would be a really cool name for an album.
yeah, but they didn't call it that. Hang on.
But no one knows what they called it because it disappeared without a trace.
That's true.
Brilliant.
No, wait.
Genius.
I can tell you. This is all yours. And everyone heard that they were calling it "This Is All Yours," and they thought, "This isn't mine, mate."
Not in my name.
I must admit, the year they won the Mercury Music Prize, 2012, I wasn't watching, and I have vague memories of Alt J. I remember them having a lot of backing vocals, but I thought they were kind of spiky, punky indie. How wrong I was.
Well,
because we just listened to Relaxer twice.
one of the tracks, pretty punky, I would say, had almost a bit of like a very softcore Sex Pistols going on. I know what I mean by that. We'll get to it when we get there.
Yeah, this album isn't particularly punky.
So when I look at my notes, to say you thought this would be a sort of punky indie band, names go from Seth Lakeman to Kate Bush to Sgt. Pepper's, Beatles, Bee Gees, Scissor Sisters, Simon and Garfunkel. Like, it really is kind of all over. But yeah, it works.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of variety there. Now, the album opens with what I thought was very Nick Drake-esque guitars. What I noticed was there's a lot of acoustic guitar on this album.
My one word that sums up the whole album is guitar.
Really?
So far, anyway. I
wrote
wrote guitar a lot. In fact, it's two words. I wrote Spanish guitar quite a lot.
So you sum up Relaxer by Alt J with two words, Spanish guitar.
On one hand.
Yeah, it's a very acoustic album. And I think it was about track 5, something like that, before I heard an electric guitar. And at that point, I jumped up and down going, "It's electric guitar! It's electric!" It was just going. But when all you've had before that is open-tuned acoustics, a little bit of does the world of good.
And in the first track, apart from that, I can't get over how it just sounds like they're about to sing Purple Rain, which they're not, and it doesn't actually sound anything like that.
You said it did sound like that, and then I said it didn't. So
well,
you're changing your mind.
No. The whole song doesn't sound like Purple Rain. It just has that. It just in the purple rain, but it doesn't actually do that. But that's what it sounds like to me. I love how you can actually properly hear. They haven't taken out any of the sound of the actual strings, the fingers sliding up and down the strings. You hear it all. It's like you're just there and you hear it.
It's very live sounding, isn't it?
Yes.
That's one of the first comments I made. I said to you, you can hear the sound of the room. Before they were called Alt J, they were called Daljit Daliwal. So my question to you, Perfect 10, is which one's better, right? Alt J, which I thought was quite weird. In fact, I think they're just a triangle symbol. Yeah? If we were going to form a duo right now, would you rather be called Alt J or Daljit Daliwal?
I honestly think I went to school with a lad called Daljit Daliwal.
Hey, it's not impossible.
I'm honest.
Is he an Alt J? Hang on. Wait.
Where
He might be an Alt J.
are Alt J from?
They're from. Hang on.
Because I can tell you, if they went to a mediocre comprehensive in Hampshire that went on and failed subsequent Ofsted reports, it's quite possible I went to school with them.
Hang on, I'm furiously scrolling through Wikipedia here. I'm going to tell you. Hang on, we're going to see if Daljit Daliwal.
Daliwal.
Wait. Why can't What? Oh, it's because I'm not even on the right Wikipedia page. Hang on.
I am not responsible for
Hang on.
that.
The members of Bananarama. Hang on. Wait. Right. The members of this band are called Joe Newman, Tom Sonny Green, and Gus Unger Hamilton.
Nope. But they might know Daljit Dallywell.
They probably do. So we're listening to this album, right? And it's very acoustic. Atmospheric. It's very atmospheric.
It was very atmospheric, and if it helps to all your mercenaries, if they can, when they listen to it the first time, position themselves watching a half moon slowly moving through clouds, as I was, in the twilight, that might help.
It might help.
Just saying.
It might help. It might not.
It might not.
It might be the biggest mistake they make in their lives. So the first track, 3WW, had a female guest vocalist on it, I believe, and I think she's from Wolf Alice. Now, that means really nothing to me. I've heard of them. They're quite famous, aren't they, Wolf Alice?
Well, I was thinking of Wolverhampton, so you're much closer to it than me.
I was thinking of Alice Cooper. Yeah, I thought it was all right. The next song was called In Cold Blood, and I guessed it would be something to do with Truman Capote, because as it was playing, I said to you, Truman Capote wrote in Cold Blood. He actually just used the word in once when he wrote it. He didn't call it in Cold Blood, because that would be a bit odd, wouldn't it? In Cold Blood. But
yeah.
It was one of the first true life killer books. The telly's full of real life CSI type shit now, but this was the first kind of cold. He also wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Well, going on there from your point about contrast, what I said about this track is the contrast between this and the much more folky first track did not work for me. I also wrote the word binary, but that's not meant to be profound or anything. That's just because the opening lyrics are like 011010001.
No. It was 100. No, it was 0. Oh shit! I've forgotten which order was it. 001100.
I don't know, but I did never learn binary, so
I did learn binary. I learnt, right? This is true. I learned hexadecimal.
Oh my God, and that is why I love you.
Because you got 10, because it's like the base 10, isn't it? So we use base 10 most of the time, don't we? But hexadecimal's base...
You're waving your hands at me for the benefit of the listeners. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure what he's trying to conjure up here.
The next song, this is important now.
We really are ripping through these, aren't we?
Yeah. Holy, have you got something more to say about In Cold Blood?
Nope.
No, nor have I.
Other than a little bit too street in comparison
to Dido and Norah Jones.
Well, obviously that's my start point.
What was that woman that sang with Meatloaf?
Bonnie Tyler. God, how can you not remember that?
Track 3 is House of the Rising Sun. Not that you would have known it. It's not House of the Rising Sun like I know it by the Animals, of which, I've got to say, Eric Burdon is one of my favourite singers of all time. All right. He's not a looker, though. There's nothing to worry about. He's
probably not listening either, so you can stop brown-nosing him.
He's not a looker.
This is where Spanish guitar comes in. And picture a guy sat in the corner of a room on a stage playing his guitar.
I was worried you were going to say kazoo then, but...
No. I think kazoo comes in on track 7. With his eyes closed, like all in the moment.
Yeah.
Like just him and his guitar and the sound. And the fact that it's a song that all of us would say we know or we think we know. You listen to this one and you hear that song all over again, not as a cover, not as some version, not as some awful, drawn out, painstaking karaoke nonsense, but just the guitar.
This drawn out, painstaking karaoke nonsense. Is that what you're calling the version of House of the Rising Sun by the Animals?
No, that's what I'm calling what people who think they can play the guitar or think they can sing try and put together.
Are you talking about me?
I'm not talking about you.
Right.
I'm talking about people.
I don't like the words think put before. When you're talking about me, you don't put the words who think they can anything.
I'm not.
I just can.
I'm not referring to any persons here present. But interestingly, I'm going to state the other thing that I noticed about this, which maybe some of you will appreciate if you are Neil Diamond fans. I know, another random name. A Beautiful Noise by Neil Diamond.
You've made a contribution musically there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
So
I've trumped
maybe
you.
my Mercurial mercenaries will understand this reference. You think the House of the Rising Sun by Alt J sounds like Neil Diamond?
You'll know it if you listen to it.
No, I won't.
But you won't let me listen to it. You won't.
No research on this channel.
No research. We've gone in blind, which is incidentally how you are viewing us.
I am flicking through Wikipedia right now because I need to tell the mercenaries something which I saw earlier when I was just flicking through with my thumb.
Is it that Neil Diamond is suing Alt J for stealing the sound of it?
No, it's not.
I happen to quite like Neil Diamond as well, but he's probably up there on the list somewhere around Norah Jones or The Cause.
Oh, this is interesting. Listen to this. Before we get back to talking about House of the Rising Sun, listen to this. The band's let's start by saying this. I've said all the way through this album, the twice we listened to it, that it's an unusual sound they've got. Haven't I?
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting sound they've got. Listen to this. The band's unusual sound stems from the fact that due to living in student halls where noise had to be kept to a minimum, they were unable to use bass guitars or bass drums. Tom Sonny Green suffers from Alport syndrome, a rare genetic disease which causes hearing and kidney failure. As a result, he is almost 80% deaf. That's interesting, isn't it? He's drums.
So they're not allowed
That does, I don't know what. It's like Spike Milligan was in the room then.
Oh, welcome to my life. So then they weren't allowed to play their drums loud.
No, and he was deaf.
And he was deaf.
Well, he is deaf.
Well, presumably, unless there's...
Deaf, presumed deaf. I've got nothing else funny to say about being deaf.
No.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
I'm not going to say something funny about being deaf. I'm going to try and not intentionally say something profound or whatever, but doesn't it just go to show how music transcends all things? And it's widely purported that Beethoven was deaf.
True.
And yet, is there anyone alive that doesn't even know the name Beethoven?
And is there anyone alive who doesn't know the name Tom Sonny Green from Alt J? The reason I pulled Wikipedia up is because I saw something up.
But this kind of does blow out our point about no research.
This isn't research. This is live research.
Oh, this isn't research. This is live research. I'm not, honestly.
This is reading Wikipedia live.
Where did Sean Spicer just come from? Well, I'm just going to fill the gap thinking if I can find Dalgy at Dallywal on Facebook because I'm still stuck on that. Maybe it was my sixth form.
Here we go. Right. So after finishing this off of that album, they kind of went on a break, all right, before releasing this album that we've had to listen to today. And drummer Tom Sonny Green released the solo debut album High Anxiety, blah de blah. Keyboardist Gus Unger Hamilton started a pop-up restaurant, and lead this is the good
Was it called Ungers for Hunger? Because otherwise he really missed it, didn't he?
He missed the trick. So right, listen to this, right? Bear this in mind, right? So in the interim between the albums, right? Drummer Tom Sonny Green goes and records a solo debut album, High Anxiety, okay, and releases it. Keyboardist Gus Unger Hamilton starts a pop-up restaurant. Unger, what did you call it?
Unger for Hunger.
Unger for Hunger. And lead vocalist Joe Newman took time off during which he watched films. That's it.
Awesome.
That's seriously what it
Awesome.
says. That's seriously what it says. So one guy's recording a whole album, one guy's opening a whole new business,
An entrepreneur.
and the lead singer's watching films. Anyway.
And I think you and I know what films they are.
Yeah, probably. The band later reconvened and recorded this album. Now, some of the brass on this album and the string sections were recorded at Abbey Road. And also, I noticed that one of these songs has been credited to Hans Zimmer because they've taken the theme from a film called The Thin Red Line, which I've never seen. You've never seen it either, have you?
No, not at all.
Well, that's great. We haven't seen it. But they've taken the theme from The Thin Red Line, which we don't know what it sounds like anyway, and they made a whole song out of it. Anyway, right, let's go back to the House of the Rising Sun. I said to you, right, so basically they've taken the House of the Rising Sun, they've changed the guitar, they've changed the chords, they've changed the lyrics, and they've had to credit it as the House of the Rising Sun. And I said to you, all he had to do, if he didn't sing the line, there is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, they could call it original song. But because he's chosen to still include that line, they have to give all their money to whatever.
But
Do you know who came up with that idea? It wasn't the guy who made the pop-up restaurant. It was the lead singer who was watching films.
it was the guy watching those films.
Those films. No, I guarantee that. Look, we've
I'm
listened
just
to
saying, perhaps he had a lot of time to think whilst watching films. That, was a lot of time to think whilst watching those films.
I suggest that having listened to this very atmospheric, very emotional album, that Joey, what's he called?
I don't know.
Joey.
I'm sensing he was pretty emotional watching those films.
Wait. Not Joey. I've forgotten his name. Hang on.
Joe Newman.
No, he's not called Joe Newman, is he? Hang on.
The singer was called Joe
No,
Newman.
him. It's all good. How do you remember that? He's called Joe Newman.
He's called Joe because you've just said it.
I can't remember
Because
that.
the other one was called Gus Unger for Hunger.
And what was the drummer called?
Sunbury.
Sunbury.
Tom.
Joe, right.
Tom.
I would say.
Sunny Green.
I would say. Oh, God, I'm nearly saying what I would say is this. I hate that.
Politician in the room.
I would say that someone who can come up with such an emotional album is not going to spend the intervening years while other people are making restaurants and solo albums watching porn. He's going to be watching films, quality films.
I'm not saying they're not quality. Come on.
No. There's only one quality porn director, and that was
Ron, what's his name?
No, he's not a director. The guy, I know it.
Do you want to have a quick look through your collection?
No.
Go on, I don't mind.
No, yes. No, his name, hang on, it's, oh, God. Why can't you remember a porn director's name when you need to?
I'm just thinking of Ron Jeremy. That's
No,
the
not
one I
Ron,
know.
no, oh, God, what's he called? He made that Roman film. Not in Roman times, he's not a time traveller. I mean, the film, oh, God, didn't it have, not Cleopatra. That big, the biggest, like, porn film of all.
Is he American?
No, I think he's Italian. Oh, God, what's it called? We're just going to stop from my messages to
Antonio
find...
Adamo.
Antonio, yeah.
Adamo.
No.
Alberto Cavallone.
No, carry on.
Joe D'Amato.
No.
Luca Diamano.
No.
Alessandra Delamere.
No.
Omar Galanti.
No.
Natasha Kiss.
No.
Dennis Marti.
No.
Mario Salieri.
No.
Rocco Siffredi.
No.
That's all it gives me for Italians.
Oh, for
Axel Braun.
No, look up. Begins with a C. The film begins with a C.
Cleopatra.
Okay, Google. Name, hang on, shut up. Google, stop it. No, stop, Google. Okay, Google. What's the name of that really famous porn film from the 70s?
Deep Throat is a...
No. It's a really famous... Hang on. Okay, Google, what's the name of that really famous porn film beginning with a C with an Italian director? Oh, Google, you're useless. Hang on. Oh, this is important. Okay, Google, what's the name of that Roman film with porn scenes in it? Caligula! And it was, the director was... I knew it had Helen Mirren. I was going to say the porn film with Helen Mirren in it. But I didn't say it, so now it just sounds like I don't know. Tinto Brasso! Tinto Brasso. He did two things in life. He invented liquid that can clean metals, and he directed Caligula. There was two cuts of it, and one was quite a hardcore cut.
Would you describe it as a 1979 Italian-American erotic historical drama?
Yes.
Focusing on the rise and fall of the Roman Emperor Caligula?
Yes.
Starring Malcolm McDowell?
Yes, Malcolm McDowell was in it. He was shagging in it, and Helen Mirren was naked in it, and Helen Mirren was hot as hell back then.
And John Gielgud?
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
Peter O'Toole?
It was around the same time as Sir John Gielgud was playing... it was in Arthur, wasn't it? So he was in Arthur and Caligula basically at the same time. In fact, that was around the same time as Bo Derek was playing The Perfect 10. Ever wanted to put your hair in braids? You can. I don't know if you want to answer that or not.
Well, I'm not.
Your silence speaks volumes. If I can I wouldn't put your hair in braids because I just didn't think she looked very good in it.
Right.
She gets a perfect 10, but I didn't think it was. What are we talking about?
We were talking about the lead singer.
Oh, Jay.
The lead singer, Joe Newman, watching high quality porn films in his time off.
Do we know what Old Jay looked like? Hang on. Okay, Google. What does Old Jay look like? Here you
Literally, show me a picture of a keyboard, please.
She's a bit informal, isn't she? No, seriously, the OK Google person is a bit informal.
Well, we haven't even met Alexa. I mean, crikey. I've heard Alexa's like having a friend at your table.
I'm looking at Alt J. Here they are. Right? There's the three of them sitting at a table. Hang on, let me put glasses on. Oh dear, my glasses have steamed up because I had them on my head. Hang on. I can't see. They've steamed up. Hang on. It's very hot in here. They're all wearing black. Oh, that's important. It's quite a miserable album, isn't it?
It is.
Hit Me Like That Snare. That's the next track. Hit Me Like That Snare.
This is the one that I said is a little bit punky. It's probably the only one that is even a little bit punky.
This is the one I was trying to say earlier that sounds a little bit like, is it Eddie Cochran? She's so fine looking, man. Oh, she's something else. And the one that Sid Vicious sings on the Great Rock and Roll Swindle. Because he sounds like Sid Vicious a little bit.
Which is the one that I said sounds like the Sex Pistols.
Yes.
We did come up with something we are on the same track.
We're not, but you did come up with an element of truth there.
I said this sounds a little bit like it could be a little bit Sex Pistols, but it is still a very long way from the Sex Pistols.
And then the next track was called Dead Crush, and I think I liked this one, but I can't now remember anything about it at all.
Well, again, interestingly, in my here notes, I had written, sounds a bit like the Scissor Sisters.
Yes!
At the same time that you said, it sounds a bit like
the Bee Gees.
There are some really interesting lyrics on the 2 through review, bearing in mind you can't always hear everything that is being said.
I would say it's a bit of a problem, this album. I couldn't hear anything that the guy said for any song.
Yeah, so perhaps they've had their sound tech done by the same people that have done about a dozen BBC dramas. But
topical.
Henry Tudor looking marvellous. I haven't read the lyrics, don't know if that's right, but that's definitely what I heard.
Henry Tudor looking marvellous.
And I also think I heard the sound of a recorder. You know,
what's wrong with seriously, what's wrong with the sound of a recorder?
Everything when you're standing in a junior school assembly listening to 15 of them trying to play Little Donkey.
Wait a minute. I will point you in the direction of Fool on the Hill by the Beatles, which is a magnificent song.
But it wasn't played by 15 kids trying to play Little Donkey in a school assembly, was it?
I don't know. Maybe it was. Okay, Google. The song Fool on the Hill by the Beatles, was it played by 15 school kids in a school assembly? This is important. People are on the edge of their seats here. I know this sort of thing. It should be like Paul McCartney playing it himself, but hang on. Here we go. Personnel. recorder played by Sir Paul McCartney, not by 15 school kids in a garage or whatever you said.
I honestly don't know whether that gives me more respect or less respect for Sir Paul McCartney.
More respect? How can you have less respect for someone who can play the recorder to an adequate standard? I'm being serious.
Does he want my sing, clap and play book?
Could you play the recorder?
Merrily we roll along.
I used to play the recorder. When
I
was
used
at
to play
school.
the recorder.
Didn't we all get forced to play the recorder?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not a bad thing. It set me up. The reason I'm doing this now is because I played the recorder at school.
God damn the recorder. And the horse it rode in on. All I can say
a
is...
recorder can't ride a horse. It hasn't got legs to put either side of the horse. You could sellotape a recorder to a horse's back or its undercarriage. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the awesome sound of the recorder that is on track 5.
Oh,
and how
which was track 5?
The Bee Gees one that we don't know the name of.
No, we do. It's called... Hang on.
I'm not sure we really thought through the actual workings of a 2-through review.
Can we
don't actually know anything about anything.
Next one, can we write things down just a little bit?
Yeah.
Adeline is the song that has the drum beat from Chariots of Fire. And I said to you, I got up out my chair and I started running in slow motion. And did you understand what I was doing?
You're running in slow motion, and I'm the girl standing like across some wild wilderness plain, waiting for you to run towards me as I'm throwing my hair around in slow motion like a shampoo advert.
I don't remember a girl in Chariots of Fire. Wasn't it just a load of blokes in shorts? The whole film?
Yeah, but I'm the girl now in what I heard when I listened to this track.
Oh, I see. Do you know who the composer of Chariots of Fire is?
Was it Hans Zimmer?
No. It's probably one of my favourite composers ever.
I'll know it when you tell me.
It's Vangelis.
I did know that.
Did you?
Yes, I would have got there.
Yeah, it's easy to say it once I've said the word.
Yeah.
Some people out there will say it's not Vangelis, it's Vangeli. It's like the whole goch.
Jeez,
go.
Life is too short.
Go is the worst one. People say go.
Life is too short to have those arguments.
Yeah.
Move on.
What other film did Vangelis write the theme tune to? Write the theme tune.
He'd hate write the theme tune. Sing the theme tune.
As long as no Dennis.
Vangelis.
What other film? I mean, it's loads of films, to be honest. But what film?
Give me a little clue.
It's called Blade Runner.
Well, do you know what? And you're going to get... I would have said Blade Runner because I know it's your other favourite film.
Of course you would have said Blade
I was
Runner.
actually thinking of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I was probably thinking of Total Recall or something, but
Adeline was lovely, wasn't it?
It was.
I remember it being probably the best song on the album, and yet I now can't remember anything about it at all. But it was good, wasn't it?
It was good. I can picture it's like a desert or wilderness, and it's she's just standing there. And
who's she?
Adeline.
Oh, it was Adeline. Hang on, Adeline was. Yes, it was about the wildebeest. The wildebeest, not wildebeest.
Wilderness.
No, the Tasmanian devil.
It was.
It's about. This is a weird one, Mercy, isn't this? The song Adeline is about a Tasmanian devil, which is a little rodent thing, isn't it? Like a little bear
from Tasmania.
Little beast.
A little beastie.
Yeah, it's about a rodent. No, it's not a rodent.
It is a rodent.
Is it?
I believe it is.
It's about a rodent that looks out to sea and sees a girl called Adeline swimming, and the rodent falls in love with the girl. That's what the song's about. So it has me thinking it was this really emotional, devastatingly beautiful song about death or whatever. It's actually about a rat falling in love with a girl. Are you looking up what a Tasmanian devil is?
Yeah, I am.
Is it a rodent?
It's not classed as a rodent.
So what's it classed as?
It's it's a marsupial
Bugger me, of course it
of
is.
the family Dasyuridae.
I was going to say Dasyuridae. Before I said...
I wonder
Before
if it's
I said
any
rodent,
relation to Dalgit Dagwell.
Before I said rodent, I was going to say Dasyuridae.
Yeah. Who was definitely in the year above me.
Yeah, I think I remember Dasyuridae. If I say this to you now, my girl, Desiree Gibson and a certain person, Desiree Gibson calls her Desiree Gibbon. What's that from? And it might have something to do
Alan
with...
Partridge?
No, and it might have something to do with the difference between Kettering and catering.
It will be
Desiree
Martin
Gibbon.
Bryce.
No. Kettering and catering.
Oh,
God, this is
Victor
riveting.
Meldrew.
Victor Meldrew.
I'm so
There's
sorry.
people all around the world who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. What were we talking about? Which song are we talking about?
Adeline.
Adeline.
Not to be confused with Adelaide, which is a place in Australia.
It is. And Adeline was the girl from
Bread.
All right, Adeline.
Adeline.
Next song is the second centerpiece. Can you have two centerpieces of an album? Because it is the second centerpiece of the album. It's the song called Last Year. Now, this is... I think Adeline's great, but perhaps Last Year's the best song on the album.
Yeah.
This is the song. This is a bit of a spoiler, isn't it? If we say this, but this
Yeah,
is the song.
This is spoiler alert.
This is a song where it's very hard to make out the lyrics, but it's a song about...
I'll give you a clue. It starts with the word January.
It does, and it mentions February, March, April, May, June. It's called Last Year, and it mentions January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
But I don't think it actually does. I don't think it references
most months.
every month. And as we're listening to it, I said, are these months or are these girls' names that he's met? There are girls called January. There are girls called March and April and May and June.
I think it was months, though. I think I misled you when I agreed with you.
It became apparent by the end that they were, in fact, the months of the year.
Once I'd read the lyrics on Wikipedia. However, it turns out it's a song of two halves. It's quite a bleak song because it's a song about a man who kills himself.
By December.
And so there's two halves to the song. There's the half that the man sings and the punchline at the end of the song. This is a spoiler.
Massive spoiler.
But when it gets to December, he talks about how he's singing at his own funeral. And then you realise he's dead. So you've been listening to a ghost or a spirit singing the song. And then the second half of the song is the girl singing at his funeral about the river that he drowned himself in. It's really, I tell you what, that was really sad, wasn't it? There's nothing funny about that. There's no comedy to be had there. That was quite moving.
It is almost two separate songs. Everything about it is like it's two separate songs, but it's not. It's like someone just put a massive semicolon at the end of the first bit.
Yeah. And
then she comes in to make it make sense and just finishes the song. It's quite sad.
It was emotional and it's a very emotional album. And although we've been necessarily, because we're supposed to be trying to be funny here, or it's a bit inappropriate really for this album, because overall this isn't a funny album in any way, shape or form. It's, apart from the Dalziri Gibbon animal falling in love with the mermaid, whatever it was, the last song, this song is very emotional, and this album is very emotional.
I like how you've turned Adeline into a mermaid.
I like to think that it's a song about a rat falling in love with a mermaid. There's nothing wrong with songs about rats.
Or mermaids.
Or mermaids. This song, did you know that
However,
the song by Michael Jackson, Ben, was written about a mermaid? That's true.
That fact I did know.
The two of us need look no more. Now we found
what we were looking
See, that's what happens when you try and do an off-the-cuff vocal. We'll obviously both sing different words.
Yeah, I was singing the right words. With a friend to call my own, you'll never be alone.
Can I just say that was her singing, not me?
See, you've got a friend in me.
You found a friend in me.
That sounded awful.
Yeah, well, that was your bit sounded awful. My bit sounded fantastic.
And also, I've already been criticised for my unprofessionalism here, but I am actually laying on my back.
Yeah, if you could see us, my mercenaries, it's pathetic. She's lying on her back, and I've got a microphone stuck downwards into her face. It's just ridiculous. There's no element of professionalism here at all. I said when we started this that the least you could do is sit upright to do it properly, but no, she's lying on her back. So I'm sitting here in my underpants, and she's lying on her back. It's just ridiculous. It looks ridiculous in here, and they've got a pussycat just curled up, just thinking, what the hell's going on?
And he really is sitting in his underpants, people.
Holy shit, come on. We're so close.
Thank the Lord for podcast.
That song was really emotional. Then we're into Pleader. Yeah? Pleader, which is the final song. This is a short album. Can I just say one thing? This is an 8-track album, and I was going to do a whole video about this once, Into the Cupboard, about the fact that once upon a time, the likes of Alice Cooper would release Killer, Billion Dollar Babies. They'd release multiple albums a year, and they'd have 8 tracks on the album. And bands used to have short albums that fit on vinyl, and this album is 39 minutes long, 8 tracks, and I like that. This song's called Pleader, and I'll just say 2 things about it, which is, number 1 is the main kind of melody that's been played has a purposeful wrong note, which I think makes it sound totally odd, mystical and fantastic. And then like the chorus part comes in and it all sounds normal again, apart from it sounds like The Wicker Man. And I'm going to do the action now, because anyone who's seen The Wicker Man, and this is a huge spoiler, so if you haven't seen the film The Wicker Man, don't listen, just switch off now. But if you imagine you're standing there now, put your legs slightly apart, stand up with your legs slightly apart, and
take the hand of the people either side of you.
No, you don't do that. It's not that. Your hands free. And you put your hands and you just...
a better description is... Now just sing Cliff Richard, Mistletoe and Wine.
Yes.
But take out the mistletoe and wine bit. And
oh my God, I didn't think of that.
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhymes, with logs on the fire and gifts on the tree, a time to rejoice in the good that we see, a time for giving. We could go on, couldn't we? Time for and not for something.
Anyway, I was swaying my arms through all that.
We'll cut before that.
Do you realise I'll probably get a copyright strike for that? Yeah, really.
It's only because we love you, Cliff.
No, because we were so good. That was practically perfect.
Because people would have thought that they were listening to Cliff and the children's choir singing it.
Anyway, when this chorus comes in this last song, it
with
sounds
words,
like someone's burning alive in a huge...
With the words, how green was my valley.
Yeah, how green was my... How green was my valley, a time for giving.
I'm sorry. I've kind of put that in your head.
A time for loving and for forgetting. Dreams of Santa, dreams of snow. Faces numb, Children in the Wicker Man, burning up alive. And it's Christmas time. Silent. You do the silent. No, you sing that bit, and I'll sing the Silent Night bit.
Christmas time.
Come on, don't laugh. Do it. She's on her back laughing.
Christmas time.
No, loud, like you would.
Mistletoe.
No. Sing. Start at the beginning.
I'm going to bring the words out.
No, don't just sing Christmas time, and I'll do Silent Night.
Christmas time.
No, wait, stop singing. No, I've got to get the
okay, just people.
That's too loud, mate. It's too.
Do you realise that every time I get it wrong, he hits me.
Right.
He's actually hitting me.
Don't tell him that. Right. Just sing the Christmas time. Silent. I'll pretend. You got to imagine. Stop a minute. You got to imagine I'm a young boy.
Oh. Wow, are we really going to go there?
Right. Just sing Christmas time again.
Christmas time.
Silent
mistletoe
night.
and wine.
Holy night.
Honestly.
I want to go.
Honestly.
Silent night. It's too high. Holy night.
Do you know, I really feel like we're losing the plot here, but I'm absolutely convinced that your mercenaries will tune in on about the 19th of December just to hear you and I really cover Christmas with Cliff.
I hope they don't think I'm being... Actually, most people who listen to this won't even know what we're doing anyway, but I hope they don't think I'm being some sort of like ironic or sarcastic here, because I genuinely think that's one of the greatest songs of all time, which he appropriated. He didn't write it. It was an old song from a musical from, I think, the late 70s. And then Cliff liked it, and he changed a few of the lyrics, and he made it his own. A
little bit like the Millennium Prayer. He did rather take those lyrics.
We don't talk about the Millennium Prayer.
And
we don't talk about the Millennium Prayer. We're talking about
but I'm just saying, as lyrics,
Bleeder,
they already
the final
existed.
song on this album. Did you have any comments to make about the final song on the album?
So my thoughts, or my notes, or thoughts, I said it sounds a little bit like it could be the track to like a murder mystery scene and a man creeping about after his crime, and it's the wrong note, the deliberate wrong note, the slight...
Is that like anything like the wrong trousers?
Grommet. You have to wave your fingers every time you do that. You have to...
And
it's like it's that deliberate wrong note just there, just thrown in.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then
yes,
it kind of gives a slightly kind of sinister edge to what is otherwise quite melodic. It's just a tiny little bit of discord just in one wrong note, and then you have the crazy Wicker Man kind of "How Green Was My Valley" chorus with the words "call to arms," these harmonies and other things, and then it changes to the same melody, but they've obviously changed the key, and you just get this whole completely like discord. What am I saying? Like the key change that just makes it sinister. It puts it all into the minor or something.
ABBA used to do that a lot as well.
And it's I said, if it's the man who was creeping about his crime scene is now frantically fleeing his crime scene, like it's all gone wrong. That's what you get when you listen to it.
All I can think of is like Gina G from
You Are Just a Little Bit.
Yeah, because of the key change. Ooh, just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. Key change.
Boyzone.
Oh,
Louis Walsh.
Boyzone with the master of the key change.
Louis Walsh, he's got that. The key change, that is his signature.
The funny thing is, right, when Louis Walsh goes to open a door, when he gets his key ring out, he's got so many key changes on there, he can't actually find his front door key. That was appalling. I think we've just finished talking about... Right, can we just sum the album up then? Did you like it? Because when it was playing, you told me you didn't like the album.
I didn't like track 2.
Did you like any of the album?
I really like the album.
You didn't say that when you've changed your mind.
No, I haven't. The only bit that I didn't like, that I told you that I didn't like, and I didn't think it fit, and I thought it disrupted the overall feel of the album, the ambience, the kind of folk-tronic, all of that, was track 2, which was a little bit it didn't fit for me. It didn't gel, and that's the only bit I didn't like. But I go back to my points, having now thoroughly and comprehensively reviewed this, the absolutely beautiful sound of the Spanish guitar, the acoustic guitar played and not hidden in the music, but as part of it. It's there. It's
not an album you'd want to play in your car as you're driving. It's a very quiet album. It's a very thoughtful album. It's an emotional album. It deals with death. It's quite bleak. It's not what I was expecting. I was actually expecting quite a spiky, more of like a Manic Street Preacher's Holy Bible type thing. And I got a kind of Jeff Buckley-esque, Nick Drakey kind of very echoey, recorded in a cathedral type
Did we even
sound.
mention the Simon and Garfunkel?
Oh, there was a song there that sounded just like Simon and Garfunkel, wasn't there?
And
which one was that? Was that Adeline?
I think it featured in more than one. But,
yeah, I know. There was a bit of a Simon and Garfunkel.
But in a nice way, just in a, like...
Well, you own a Simon and Garfunkel album.
I do own a
One
Simon
of your
and
5.
Garfunkel.
One of your 5.
Okay, I'm going to up. I reckon I may own as many as 7 because I've probably mentioned...
Well, I can see them all.
5. Yeah, you can't see the ones that are in my car.
Oh, God, which one's in your car again? I don't mind the Madonna one. Which other ones you got in your car?
Just various the best ofs.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You
people who own the best ofs. What's your favourite album? What's your favourite Beatles album? I think it would have to be the best of the Beatles. Well, what sort of music do you like? I like Nirvana. Never heard of him. Kurt Cobain? Never heard of him. Shot himself? Why did he do that? Was he no good? No, he was great. Perhaps someone should have told him. This album, actually that little sketch that I just got a little bit wrong then, kind of sums this album up really. You know, it's quite bleak. Is it good?
I like the album overall.
I paced around just wondering whether it was good or not.
I like the album, but as far as a 2-through review goes, I cannot place track 2.
So this is a thumbs up then, because you only dislike one song on the album.
It's not even that I disliked...
I thought it was all a bit mushy and all a bit echoey and all a bit unfocused, but overall I liked it much more than I thought I would. And I think I am going to give it I'm going to give it that.
This is where the podcast really falls flat.
They ain't got a clue, have they, what I'm doing?
No.
I'm going to give it that, actually. Well, everyone listening to this now, put your right hand out, put it into a fist, stick your thumb out sideways so that you're looking
to a 9 o'clock position.
So as you're looking at it, yeah, it's at 9 o'clock, yeah? Now your thumb's sticking out sideways to your left at 9 o'clock on your right hand, and just turn it so it's facing 10 o'clock. That's what I give Alt J Revolver. What do you give? We could do this for every album. What position do you put your hand in? And it could not up a cow's ass. Not up a cow's ass. Don't say that. That's too obvious. Where are you going to put your fist? I'll hold the fist out. You tell me where you're putting it. Don't make any sort of... Just be honest. Be serious.
I'm going to go with you. Well, I'm going to go with you.
You'll have to copy
I'm going to
me.
go for a 10 o'clock.
You were going to have it down there at 6.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
Why was I going to do that?
But we were listening to it.
I only said I didn't like track 2. I didn't like track 2 on the first listen.
We need to repeat that.
And I didn't like track 2 on the second.
We're both giving it 10 o'clock. We can do it in our clocks.
Yeah.
So it's between 6 and 12 o'clock. So we give it a 10 o'clock. No one's ever done that before. No one's ever done an o'clock rating. This works brilliantly. So we'll give it a 10 o'clock. So that only gives 2 positions to beat it. 11 and 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. It's good. So my Mercurial Mercenaries, we give Alt J's muscle relaxer. Start that again. We give Alt J's relaxer 10 o'clock. Thank you, my mercenaries. That is the end. You'll be very, very drunk. You'll be very pleased to know that is the end of episode 1 of the Mercury. Just say goodbye, Perfect 10.
what I don't want to do is the really obvious gag and say goodbye, Perfect 10.
No, go on, do that then.
Well,
Say
I've lost
goodbye,
it now.
Perfect 10.
Goodbye.
Thank you, my Mercurial mercenaries. Till next time. Over and